I wanted to just welcome everybody to this podcast. It's a very, very special podcast. Obviously, we've been doing Meet the Team episodes for quite some time now. It's a chance for our community to see who's behind Wakelet, you know? And for me, this is the most exciting episode, obviously, because we've got three incredible individuals here who are our new team based in the United States. We've got Mario, we've got Andrew, and we've got Tish. So welcome to the podcast. I'm going to do the usual formalities, and I would love for you to just tell us where you're from, first of all. So Andrew, where have you come from?
I am coming from Ohio.
Ohio, okay. And how long did it take you to get here?
About 29 weeks. No, it took me maybe altogether maybe like 19, 20 hours.
Yeah. We were discussing, weren't we, about like the difference between driving in the US and driving in the UK.
Yeah.
Where like in the UK, anything over 2 hours, it's like road trip, you know, that's a big commitment. In the US, it's like 2 hours?
No.
2 hours to go to work, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I know you did that in TCA as well when you went to Texas, you're the same. What about you? Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland, just near Washington, D.C., and it took me approximately 10 hours to get here.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
A good night's rest.
Nice.
When I was here.
Nice. Well, what I like to do is whenever anybody, because obviously like America's biggest export is culture, right? So like whenever somebody says which state they're from, in my mind, I just try and go back and think about what do I associate with that state? So with Ohio, I associate LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Would you say
fair.
that's
Nice.
fair?
That's
Yes.
fair.
Okay,
Nice.
and then with Maryland, I don't have anything, but in the UK, we have a brand of cookies, which are like Maryland cookies. Is there anything in Maryland that it suggests?
No.
Okay. Okay, so that's just one of those.
From Maryland, you need to associate crabs.
Okay, crabs. Okay,
Yes.
okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so another thing which I want to talk about is the difference between cookies. You guys call all biscuits cookies, right? Like if I was to
Yes.
just give you a
Yes.
biscuit
Yes.
with chocolate on it, that's a cookie.
It's a cookie.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the UK, a cookie is chocolate chip cookie. That's it. Everything else is a biscuit. We don't call but in the US, biscuits are like a savory thing that you have with like fried chicken and stuff.
And gravy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Gravy.
right.
It's like
That's
a
right.
roll in a
Right.
way. Yeah.
Which for us would be like a balm or like just some bread or something, right? We're gonna go through so many of these. Don't worry. Tish, what about you? Where are you from?
So I'm from Texas, and it took me, let me think. I left my house at noon on Monday. I don't even know. It took me 13, 14 hours to get here, something like that.
So it's not that bad.
It's not
See, I was
horrible.
planning on doing this whole thing where I was like, these our American friends have traveled across the jungle and across the ocean, and across the mountains.
I mean, the
just to
ocean
get
is
us
true.
here. Yeah.
The mountains
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe, yeah. But you're like, it took 10 hours, few hours. I think you had the worst of it though, obviously. But
Yeah.
still, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
No.
What I was really intrigued, and I'm sure that a lot of people who are watching this, because we've got a massive international community, and when we travel to the United States, we see clear cultural differences, okay? Which are usually like just exciting and interesting to look at. You've only been in the UK for how many days now? Like been 5 days maybe?
4 or 5.
Okay. Have you noticed any cultural differences, whether it's the team, whether it's someone serving you coffee, whether it's the concierge at the hotel? What kind of cultural differences do you see here?
I don't want to say everybody's nicer, but
Really?
well, you are nice. My point is, I don't want to make it sound like in the U.S. everybody's just super mean. No, it's what I've noticed here is you're all interconnected. It's all more teamwork.
Right, right,
If you're doing marketing, then you make that leap. Okay, well, how does this relate to customer success? How does this relate to the front end? How does this relate to the back end? And that interconnectivity is more pronounced.
Right.
I should
Okay.
say.
Okay, that's crazy because I don't think that we're nice. I think the team is great, but I think that as a culture, the UK is a little bit frosty. And obviously, you're in the north of the UK, which tends to be friendlier. But like when you go south, you say hello to somebody in the street, they're like, "What's going on?" Immediately suspicious. But when I travel to the States, maybe it's just because I'm interacting with people in like the service industry and they've been trained really well.
Yeah.
But like everybody seems way nicer Like the guy serving you a cup of coffee, the girl who's selling you like a packet of chewing gum or something, like they become immediate best friends with you. And like, I don't know, I buy into that. So like, even if I know that they've been trained to do that, I'm still like, this is awesome, because you walk out the store feeling great. Whereas in the UK, it's not that much. It's kind of like, what do you want? Okay, here you go. You know. So that's crazy. What about you, Mario? Any cultural differences that you've noticed?
Well, for one, it's just the way of life, transportation.
Big one.
Things are very different. You know, obviously you guys drive on a different side of the road than we do. It's a big, a big one.
Yep.
And so I think that's something unique and something to get used to or to get accustomed to. So, and also even in signage on the roads, just noticing that, just there's a different signage that you may not be accustomed to in the U.S. And so it's a little bit different there.
It's like in the U.S. it's like walk and don't walk. It's like, what if you don't speak English? Whereas with us, it's just a little person walking, a little person standing still. But also one of the things which people hate when they either move to the UK or when they visit the UK and they're driving is not only do they have to get used to driving on the left, they also have to get used to how narrow the roads are. Because in the States, even the freeways, or we call them the motorways, but I was saying to you like a couple of days back, if you travel to the countryside, it's two-way traffic opposite, and the roads are as narrow as like this. It's like, what are we supposed to do here? Wow. It's strange. I've noticed that. And then like even in the residential areas, when I went to Texas, like just on a side street, like a cul-de-sac, the roads are huge, which is great. You guys have a lot of space. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's why everyone's got massive trucks that they're driving around. Whereas in the UK, it's like the smaller the car, fit into nice places, and that's it. What about you, Tish? I know that you've obviously interacted with us and the team for quite some time, like many years now. Right. But actually visiting the UK and visiting Manchester, what kind of cultural shifts have you experienced?
I don't know. It's been so intriguing. Of course, I'm fascinated by the accent. So the airport guys wanted to search my luggage, and at first I was really angry, but then they just started talking, and I was like, okay, you can do whatever you want.
the great eraser.
I do see that people are very friendly here. Like I was walking to work. That is a thing that I have never done. So just that I love it. Even whenever it's, a little bit rainy or cold, it's such a great way to start your day. And we don't have that in Texas. We drive everywhere. Just even to the corner market.
No, there's more of a walking culture definitely in the UK and cycling as well. Do you guys get many cyclists in the States or?
Yes.
Yes. Incredibly annoying for people who are driving, but
big trucks.
But the cycling is a big part in the UK when it comes to commuting. People cycle from like very, very far distances to get into work. That's why they have showers and stuff, so when they get in, they can change and that kind of thing.
I noticed people bring extra changes of clothes to work and dry their clothes over in the back. It's very intriguing.
Well, we were talking about the transport and how like we rely on trains a lot as well, and that the train system in the US in terms of going from state to state. What do you think, Andrew? Is that does that a thing?
No.
I've never been on. I've never been on a train.
Really?
I took a train to Pikes Peak once, but just that's to get from the bottom of the mountain to the top.
Oh, right. Okay. Up the mountain. Like a novelty train experience. Yeah. Okay. But in terms of actually trying to get somewhere, trains are not.
It's a very car culture.
Right.
Like for example, like when I fly back home, I live in Columbus, Ohio, but I chose to fly out of the Detroit airport 3 hours away. And when I bring that up, they're like, oh my gosh, that's such a long drive. And to me, it's like, no, not at all. I actually enjoy it. I'm just going to put my audiobook on and just listen to the highway while I drive it. I'm totally used to it.
Yeah, we know. We don't do that. We don't do the UK, no. Because like to get to London, it's like you either drive for like 3-4 hours in the traffic, or you just catch the train and it's like 2 hours. We've got a pretty good network, but then people really forget how tiny the UK is compared to the US. It's like when we're talking about it, it's like, okay, the streets are really narrow, but it's like we're a tiny little island. Like that's gonna happen, right? Like the UK, I mean, it can fit into Texas like 4 times or something. So we have to keep a little bit of perspective on that. Just before we move on to another subject, I wanted to get, when you think of England, what 3 words come to mind? Putting you on the spot. Pick 3.
Tea, Queen, history.
Love it. What about you, Mario?
I love England.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I do.
You're a natural.
It's rich culture, definitely. Good people and great food.
Oh, that's great.
Food, culture, and people.
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
I know that we've got lots of English fans who will be politely clapping at that. Here, I like that chap. What about you, Tish?
Well, I do also love it here. I love it. But the 3 words would be proper,
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Proper.
posh.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Depends on where you go.
I see you as posh.
Okay, right. Well, I'm
then,
flattered.
and then food. I mean, I think I love the food here. And I was so excited to try the food.
Yeah.
And I have enjoyed it. Baked beans for breakfast is not something I was used to, but now I'm digging it.
Gotta stock up before you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Okay, so we've come this far in the conversation. As usual, I'm more interested in the abstract, weird stuff and like to find cultural differences and whatever. But a lot of people watching this won't actually know why you're here, right? So I wanted to very quickly go through everybody and just find out like what is it that you're going to be doing at Wakelet, just so that everyone in the community knows your face and knows what you're doing.
Well, I think a lot of different things, but in general, just trying to do as much outreach as possible, trying to reach and touch as many educators as possible, particularly in the Northeast, the Midwest areas, and really just trying to sing our praises and show everybody this is the way.
Yeah, show everyone how awesome we are.
Yeah, essentially.
And outreach for us has always been interesting because we're based in the UK and we do things in like, going back to the cultural kind of things, like there aren't many businesses like ours or many companies and teams like ours in the UK. What we're doing is really unique and we've managed to find and be embraced by like a community of educators who we're extremely privileged and lucky to like be a part of this community, but yeah, I think that the outreach is such an important part of what we're doing. And with most of our community being based in the US, even though we're super international, like your roles are critical, like you said, to helping spread that word to people that may not be on social media, or use social media and through those usual channels. Yeah. What about you, Mario?
Sure. I'm really looking forward to being a part of the Wakelet team in the U.S. and just being a voice and a support tool for the community. That's a critical role, and I know it'd be very vital for the UK team to know that you have that support in the U.S. And so that's what I want to do. I want to see everyone do well and continue to enjoy Wakelet as it is.
Amazing. It's so comforting. Honestly, like I can't tell you guys enough. Like, for us to know that even tiny little things like time differences, on the smallest level, like that's a huge help. Never mind the wealth of experience and like the personalities that you guys have. It's so comforting to know that when it comes to that area of the world now, like we're sorted, we've got it. What about you, Tish? I know that people in the community, most of them already know who you are because you've appeared on endless webinars, and you've been a massive kind of proponent of Wakelet's growth in the United States as an ambassador, and now obviously a part of the team.
Right.
I'm sure people are intrigued and wondering, what is it that Tish is doing at Wakelet?
So lots of district outreach. I mean, I feel like my goal hasn't changed at all. I've always been about empowering the people around me. And so my goal is to empower educators and districts and students and show them the power of Wakelet, and share my story, because I really was a naysayer about Wakelet in the beginning. I really was that veteran teacher that said, I don't see how this is going to solve any of my problems. You just keep it.
It's a major scoop right here.
And then I thought, well, let's see, I have this one problem and trying to be in 2 places at one time. And I thought, well, let's test out this Wakelet theory. Let's see if it actually works. And put together a lesson plan that was student pace lesson plan. And really, to my surprise, the engagement went up from my students. It was so easy for me to put a lesson together and put it in Wakelet and use everything I was already using. And then I still wasn't completely convinced, so I decided to challenge Wakelet one more time and gave my students a digital portfolio assignment. And some of them chose Wakelet, some of them chose Google. And I thought, well, this will be interesting to see. And Julie Parsons turned in her Wakelet portfolio, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And you're like the students which you taught, like incredible group of students, especially like the SWAT group.
Yes.
And they've been so critical. Like honestly, like Tisha's students, there isn't a week that goes by that we're not using their work on Wakelet and their profiles on Wakelet to showcase what the platform can do. Like you guys took it and ran with it so well. It was amazing. And obviously the stuff that you did with Deb as well in the student ambassador program, it is a turning point for everything. So I think that like one of the things that we talk about at Wakelet is like how versatile the platform is. So it's going to be amazing to see how you guys take this platform and be like, you can use it for this as well, you know? Did you know that like there's this particular group of students and this particular district who are focusing on this? And like the cool thing about Wakelet is that it is versatile. Yeah. You can kind of attribute as many things as you want to it and get as much as you can out of it. So yeah, I'm super excited, obviously. And like I said, having just geographically your presence there is going to be a complete game changer. So the whole team is excited. Speaking of the team, I wanted to know, like, obviously with us, we love our team. We love our team culture, and I think that comes across with the community as well. And we like to showcase the talents and the skills and the personalities of all the different characters and, all the diversity that we have on the team as well. Diversity in lots of different senses, in skills and personalities and characters, ethnicities, whatever it might be. What kind of impressions have you got from the team, like, just from spending this last 4 or 5 days with us?
Well, it goes back to what I originally had mentioned, is that interconnectivity. I think that there's a desire to problem solve, despite the fact doesn't seem to be a problem, but kind of anticipating what sort of hurdles there's going to be, and really just strategically planning. And I think they're doing that in a really positive way. And in my experience, it's always gloomy. It's a little pessimistic. It's like, oh, well, we have to get the attention of teachers in the United States, and they're vastly different from us, cultural and otherwise. And it's going to be such a slog. No, I mean here it's yes, we understand that there are differences, and it will be challenging, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be something that everybody wants to be a part of. So I'm seeing that everywhere. Yeah.
That's really, really nice to hear. It'll never get old to hear that stuff about the team, because obviously we have our own perspective, but when people from the outside come in and join the team, then we really understand what the team's all about, and we're reminded about the things that make this team special. So Mario, what about yourself? What kind of impressions have the team made on you so far?
Right off the bat, overwhelmed with support. And just the generosity, the camaraderie, and the positive, outcomes in respect to technology, how to embrace technology, and education, how that fits in. And just that commonality, to me, means a lot. As Andrew mentioned, in some geographical areas across the world, everyone may or may not embrace technology in a positive manner. But at Wakelet, I think the barriers are broken. And it really makes the process to understand what technology is and how to really infuse it in your way of life, in and out of a classroom, in and out of your community and your home, is extremely important. And that's a huge hurdle to accomplish. But I think Wakelet has done a phenomenal job. The team here has.
It's amazing. You can tell that smile is like a slightly shy, slightly embarrassed smile, because it's really nice to hear. Honestly, coming from you guys, the experience that you have outside looking in, to say that is it legitimizes the stuff that we've done so far and the work that we've done so far. So we, for a long period of time, were like, okay, who's going to be using this platform? We know that we've got companies using it, we've got individuals using it, athletes, musicians, whoever it might be. And then when we found educators, it's like, wow, what a perfect marriage of this platform, because one of the most amazing things for us was we thought that we didn't think that we knew it all, but we kind of figured out like this is how people are using the platform. The moment that educators started using the platform, it's like, you know, we were wrong. Like there's thousands of different applications for it. So I'll go into that in just a minute. But yeah, I think for us it's really redeeming to hear that the way that we've conducted ourselves, the way that we've been, has been appreciated by people from the outside looking in. What about you, Tish? What about your experiences with the team, and what are your first impressions after being here?
I think this team is a movement. I mean, seriously. There has not been a day or a time difference that I've not been able to ask a question or get assistance or get help. And to see the team in person and be able to have a conversation with them and say, hey, I have this teacher that's having this issue. Can you just see what they're seeing? And doing that together has been just really invaluable. But the generosity, like Mario said, that the welcome, like it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming in a great way. Like, I mean, really, like I'm not often brought to tears. That's the truth. I don't really cry a whole lot. And it brought me to tears. And, I just think what we all have here, right? I often say you, but it's, you know, switching that to what we have is incredible. It's an incredible movement. Yeah. So,
and those of you who are wondering what the entrance was, just everybody in the Wakelet team lined up in the kitchen awaiting your arrival, and then as you came, it's just instant applause, instant focus on you. Which, if I was in that situation, I would have just taken a look and just walked off. So, like, major props, you know, like I said, we keep it weird. So major props for like being composed and being like so like regal in your entrance and dignified. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. But yeah, like we do things different at Wakelet, and I think that the time that I've spent with you guys in the last 5 days has been really magical, and it's instilled a sense of confidence in the team, which I think, you know, every team needs confidence, and confidence is going to go up and down. It's just a natural thing, and there are certain things that give you like a long major boost of confidence. There's certain things that give you confidence for a couple of hours, whatever it might be. Interacting with you guys, having the meetings and the interactions that we've spoken about subjects and community stuff, it's like paradigm shifting for me personally. Sure. Like it really is. It's like seeing something from a completely different perspective. The wealth of, like I said, the wealth of experience that you bring to the team has made me feel like overconfident in what we can achieve, and like you said, in how far we can spread this movement. So that's been my impression of you guys, which is like the energy that you're bringing to the team, the experience that you're bringing to the team. It's something that we've needed for so long, and now that we've finally got it, we're like eternally grateful for it, and we're going to do some incredible things. We've spoken a little bit about, obviously, cultural differences and you know, your backgrounds and your impressions of the team. But obviously we're here because of the platform, you know, and the Wakelet platform and what that can do. So I'd be interested in hearing, like, what are your favorite elements of the platform, and what are you most looking forward to in the development of the platform?
Well, you know, speaking as a former teacher, history teacher, and me personally, I'm always into segmentations and always into order, not so much order as an organization. You know, I want there to be a curation. I always wanted that to be the case in my classroom. And because the subject is so broad and it can be very complicated, it can be very complex, I always wanted my lessons to be as simplistic and understandable as possible. Because to a high schooler, to me or to us here, it's very simple. It's a story. To them, it's more than just a story. It's something they have to learn, literally. So, what I really love about Wakelet is it allows you to be that storyteller, and it allows you to get that story out there in a more simplistic and more organized fashion. And I think that they really dig that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's funny because for a nice little period of time, the tagline for Wakelet was "Tell Your Story."
Yeah.
You know, I think that we all know that the things that we remember when we're, you know, the lessons that are the most memorable for us, for good reasons, at least when we're kids, are those where a story has been told to you. And, you know, you can create a story on anything, you know, and I think that the best teachers, they do that. They're able to use Wakelet to tell that story, to make it a really memorable learning experience for their students. What about you, Mario?
Right off is the curation, but let me explain that. In many cases, the World Wide Web, the internet, can be very scary and very complex in the development of anyone's life. In particular children. And so I believe that what Wakelet has done is allowed kids, adults, anyone to be able to go into their own secured world and collect, curate, and just bring things to life that make sense to them and feel very safe about that. And I think that's what really stuck out to me from the onset, is not curating any and everything, but any and everything that means everything to you. So,
wow. I think we're going to isolate that clip and just put it on the homepage. That was amazing. Yeah. I think that's one of the things which I love about it as well, is that it gives people a home on the web, like a real homepage, you know, a place that they've curated, a place that they can come and they can build what they want there, you know, whether it's research, whether it's a place for mindfulness resources where they can come and unwind, whether it's like a movie list, like for me, which is a comforting thing to have. Right. You know, I use Wakelet to curate movie lists. So I'm a big movie buff. When I see a movie trailer that I like or a review or something, I add it to my movie list because I don't want to go and open up Netflix and whatever and just be like browsing for 2 hours whilst my food goes cold. Yeah. You know, it's so nice to be able to go to that comfortable place online and say, this is stuff that I know that I like because I've put it there, as opposed to it being fed to me. Mm-hmm. So I love that. It's a very comforting concept and a notion, I think. And I think that that's going to become more prominent as we go forward. People are going to realize that they've picked up Wakelet to create a portfolio or to do a newsletter or a lesson plan. And then they've realized that actually this is my corner of the web where I'm free from the noise. I'm not being fed algorithms and recommendation engines. The stuff that I like, this is where it is. So I love that. I share that sentiment entirely. Beautiful. What about you, Tish? Obviously, you've used the platform for a long time. What would you say your favorite elements are of it? My favorite elements of Wakelet truly are that anybody can be a creator. So you are creating. And I think a message that we hear after we leave elementary school is that we are no longer creative. You know, for a lot of us, it sort of gets pushed out of us. So I love that aspect of it, that we are creators. We have control over what we're putting together, what we're seeing. And my hope is that everybody integrates Wakelet into their everyday life. I mean, I use it all the time. When I say I'm using the app, it's because I'm using the app and finding a bug, you know, because I've tried to do something that maybe isn't possible yet. Which we love, by the way. Right. Shout out to all the bug catchers out there who are but it is. It's for me in a classroom student aspect. I loved that I could move from completion of work to creation, for my students to be in control of their creations. And you've seen it. It really, the ball got rolling with those portfolios. And then my students it was like unlocking things inside of them that we didn't even know were there. They were creating businesses and going for jobs and you know, applying at universities and things that I don't know that they had a plan for in the beginning. So Wakelet really is like a tool to unlock what's there, but maybe is dormant. You raise a really cool point, and this is something which I loved about Wakelet in the beginning, was that there are creation tools out there, but you start with a blank canvas. Whereas with Wakelet, it's unlocking creation through curation. Because if you look at a DJ, you know, or a museum curator, or even like a producer of music, a lot of the time, and film directors, they're curating ideas from the past and then turning them into something new. So, you know, whether it's samples from, you know, soul music that are then turned into something else, whether it's, you know, somebody's putting together an art exhibition and they're choosing this from this, this from this, this from this, whether it's somebody putting a museum exhibition together and rather than just showing like one thing, like this is a statue from Roman times, it's like they've been able to take like utensils and children's toys and, you know, artifacts and stuff, and then you create something bigger than the sum of its parts. And that's what I loved about Wakelet. For me personally, I found it empowering because it's not like you're giving me a blank slate and saying create something. It's like there's amazing things out there that you can use to create something bigger than the sum of its parts. And I think that when you show that to kids and you explain how they can do it, it, like you said, it unlocks so much potential. Okay, so this is the beginning for both of you of your Wakelet journey. Okay, what I'd love to hear from you guys is, what are you most looking forward to, and what is it that you want to leave behind? Like what kind of, I know it's a bit deep talking about legacies 5 days in.
Wow.
It's too much, but I don't care. I'm an intense guy. What kind of thing would you like to leave behind, and on like mark would you leave on Wakelet?
What I'd love to leave behind is really proving that there is a cross-cultural, cross-geographical mark that can be made, and it will be made. Right now, I mean, here we are in Manchester, in the UK, talking about reaching more people in the United States, even though we have a gigantic footprint. So I think that once we solidify what that mark is, or what it will be, that's really just going to be the greatest, at least for me, a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to happen. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. Again, like it's building on that community that we've already built. That's so international.
Exactly.
Like when I look around and I see the space that we're in, and I look at our community in particular, and I look at the kinds of people that are coming from all over the world to watch our webinars. When we put on Community Week, it's like a crazy amount of countries which have joined. Every continent, you know, except Antarctica.
Sure.
Okay. But like it's every corner of the world, and that's what thrills me. And I love that that's a part of what it is that you want to impact change on Wakelet, is to increase that.
Yeah.
What about you, Mario? Intense question.
Yeah, it really is, but it's a welcoming question, and so I look forward to continuing and leaving behind the level of enthusiasm, in particular in the United States. I think that it's critical, it's important in where we are today, for families, community members, children to feel that level of satisfaction, and so continue to be enthused. Moving the platform and the product across the country, and just leveling that excitement, and finally the growth. Looking forward to seeing the name Wakelet all over the entire United States, all over the world, a dinner table discussion, any and everything everyone knows about Wakelet. And I'm really, really looking forward to that growth and the potential that it has, and that it has already created. So.
I love it. And that's another cultural difference as well, Mario, because that's something I'd never say. Leave it to the Americans to say that. In the UK, we'd be deeply uncomfortable saying, you know, we want global domination. That's what we want. We want 100%. We want everybody on the platform. Like, even though that's obviously as a business, as a community, we want that growth.
Right.
For us, we, you know, a cultural thing in the UK is like, we just like to grow a little bit, you know, that would be nice. Kind of like Canadians, I guess, you know, almost apologetic about our ambition. So I think that like that would be an incredible legacy, and I think that that's where you guys come in. You know, that's what it's all about in the end. It's about saying that this platform is one of the most useful platforms, not only in edtech, but like on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's about how many people can we get to bring into this and enjoy that use, and hopefully change the way that people interact with the internet and the way that people think about the internet, you know, rather than thinking so much about like, I'm going to sign up and then just have everything given to me. It's a little bit deeper and richer than that. It's saying, no, go out and look, go out and research, go to page 12 of Google, you know, like find that stuff that you're really looking for and curate it and make something useful, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that completely. And what about you, Tish? I know that you've already left your mark on Wakelet, you know, with all the different things that you've been doing in your class and the influence that you've had already. What are you looking for in the future?
I think really I just want to meet more people. I want to bring more people together. I think that's my goal, is really to bring the community, grow the community, first of all, and have our community really, go out and like triple, but then just bringing everybody together. I think that's one of the things I've loved about being here this week. Just making everybody do my silly games in the morning, right? And just like being better together. We say that on Twitter a lot, but it's true. We're all better together when we bring all of those great pieces from each of ourselves. And we all want to be Misbah, but the truth is, Misbah always says, no, we all have to come together with the great things about each of us.
You have a habit of flattering me, and it gets you everywhere. I'm not as good as you make out, but it's working. Lastly, before we finished, right? This is your opportunity to ask somebody from the UK any question that you might have, any curiosity that you might have, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? Why do you guys say this? Here's your opportunity. Do you have anything that you'd like to ask on behalf of the United States of America? Tish, what about you?
I do not understand the black pudding thing.
Okay,
do not understand it. No. Need to understand it better.
Black pudding is, where do I begin? It's not a pudding. It's definitely not a pudding.
Definitely not.
Black pudding is some psychopath somewhere thought it would be a good idea to drain the blood of an animal and then add some ingredients, chopped meat or whatever, and then wait for it to congeal and then bake it.
Yum.
and then serve it with breakfast. There are a few very, very suspect dishes. In Scotland, for example, they have haggis, which is actually, it's good. It's a gross idea, but it's decent. Like when it's done well, it's just like chopped up entrails of various animals kind of put together with spices and herbs and stuff, and it tastes okay. But yeah, black pudding is it's blood. That's what it is. I wouldn't expect anybody from the US to come and be like, I'm going to try that. So yeah,
No.
and probably don't. Although there's probably people from the UK who love it, who are telling me right now, don't.
Yes, they've told me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try it.
Yeah, I've never had it in my life. I don't intend to. Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions that you
How
guys
do you
have?
like the weather?
Oh, well, I mean, look
Particularly in
around us.
Manchester.
Yeah, look around us. Manchester is known for its weather, how inconsistent it is. Like, I don't talk bad about the weather because I don't believe in like complaining about stuff that, you can't control. But it's not the sunniest climate, as you guys can probably tell.
I don't think it's bad.
This morning, it was a beautiful morning. Yesterday was beautiful. Now it's gray, it's been raining, and it's probably going to stay like this for a few months now. And then in the winter, when the winter comes, it's not that magical, beautiful snowflakes. It's going to snow for a day or two, and then just stick there and become mush that you then have to kind of get through.
Yeah.
And the UK is not prepared for some reason. It's always a big surprise when there's like a flood or it rains or something. The trains just stop working. Everyone stays at home with like a little bit of snow. It's crazy. You guys get snowed under. That doesn't happen in the UK, maybe in certain areas, but yeah, Manchester, the weather is don't come for the weather. You're going to be disappointed.
It's the same weather as in Ohio.
Really?
I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Okay, well, if you
I love it.
Yeah, if you're coming here from Ohio, then you know what to expect.
Yeah, I stepped out the door and now I'm in Manchester.
Yeah, you're coming here from Miami or Los Angeles. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Don't come for the weather.
No.
Yeah. Stay where you are. Anything else? What about you? Any questions you've ever wanted to ask anybody from the UK?
I was actually going to ask about the haggis.
Oh, you can ask about that.
It's really not even a question so much as it is like we were talking about this at dinner. It's like it's not that your food, which is stereotypically all English food, bland or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that it's bad. It's good. It's just that your marketing for the food is bad.
Exactly.
You all have this tendency to explain the food like you had just done, and it's like you're not helping.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's such a nuanced observation. I was telling, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was you, Tish, just a few days ago. I'm a basketball fan, so back before the internet days, basketball's not big in the UK. It just isn't.
Yeah.
They're trying, which is great. People play, but it's not big. Like soccer, football is going to be the sport forever. But the only way for me to watch like the All-Star games and like important basketball matches was I'd have to order DVDs on eBay. So I'd get the DVDs and I'd play them, and then you'd have the commercial breaks. So I'd be watching like the All-Star game from 1998 or whatever, and the way that you guys market and the language that you use, you sell insurance and like cars in the most crispy, delicious way ever.
Yeah, right.
Like I was watching, I'm like, why am I hungry? This is this is like an advert for an insurance company, or like a company that you don't know what it does, like Prudential or Halliburton, and it's like just the language which is being used. It's like, I'm hungry right now, and then it's immediately followed by like a KFC advert or something. So you guys know what you're doing, definitely, with the food. So you might be onto something. It's not that the food is bad.
No.
It's just that we don't market it. You know? Yeah.
Right.
Well, it has been a fascinating conversation with you guys, and one which I've been looking forward to for so long. And we're deeply, deeply honored and moved that you guys are here. Like it's incredible for us. And I know that the community are going to love you. Obviously, they're going to get to know you through the work that you're doing. And just hearing the plans that you have and, the journey that you're on, it's amazing to be a part of it. And yeah, we're super thrilled to have you here. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's joined us today and listened to this podcast. Those of you who are watching, leave any comments on YouTube specifically. If you have any questions about the UK culture that you'd ever want to be answered, we'll try and answer them as much as we can in the comments. And check out all of the resources. I don't know what resources are going to be in this Wakelet collection. It's going to be very varied. At wakelet.com/@the Wakelet podcast. There you'll be able to find all of the previous episodes that we've done, along with all of the resources. And the Wakelet podcast journey continues across all of the different streaming services, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever it is that you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to tune in, because we've got some amazing things coming your way. But thank you all so much for joining me on this podcast. It's been incredible.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.